Well, HasLab's Black Series Rancor failed fairly miserably. Let's talk about it.
Hey, kid. Yeah, you. Everyone thinks toys are fun, but this is a channel for adults. Yeah, I said it. If you're under the age of 18, go get your parents before you come in here. If you're under the age of 13, scram! Let's get on with the show.
If you're a toy collector or a Star Wars fan and have been under a rock in the last couple of months, you may not know that the HasLab crowdfunding model, whatever you want to call it, tried to put out a Black Series version of the Rancor. And, you know, in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with that idea. I think it could have been a slam dunk for the company. And along the way, was fraught with a lot of different things that fans just weren't happy about. The initial offering was just the Rancor, and the upgrade tiers for different stretch goals were some things that should, come with the item, like the bones, and other things that were already on the market and easy to get, like the Gamorrean Guard and a newly tooled Luke Skywalker in Jedi mode, which we technically already had, but they're going to make a new one. And it's like, that's not why I'm buying a Rancor. There were some obvious omissions, like Ula, and of course bikini Leia. There's a lot of different terms for it, and I'm not going to use the S word just because, okay, it's not official anymore, whatever. It's slave Leia. None of these things were being offered, and it was a clear kick in the face to Star Wars fans and Black Series collectors in general, and it just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. When they started to see backers declining in a big bad way, they decided to release the Rancor Keeper with the Rancor without any stretch goals. Like, if you fund this, we'll make this figure, which should have been a part of the listing in the first place. Very, very, very disappointing run overall, and I'm not surprised that it did not meet its funding at all. Analog Toys has already weighed in, and Tony gave a great video about what he thinks should have been done better. I am in agreement 100% with his points. I advise you to watch that video, and I'm not going to overtly tread over the points that he's made. I want to offer my perspective as someone who does not collect the Black Series at this time. Star Wars in general for me was a really hard sell as a modern adult collector because there's way too many variations of the line. Figure prices are very expensive, whether we're going for vintage or current. I'm just not a huge fan of it. I've decided to go 3 3/4 scale with the Bespin 3D printed playset that's out there, and I'm going to just center my collection around that. I did not want to get into the Black Series 6-inch scale because there's just not a lot of variety there in terms of like vehicles, stuff like that. And there should be. That's the big thing with Star Wars is beyond the wide range of characters, you've got these great vehicles that really accentuate the entire line, and they're not really doing that, so I didn't have a lot of interest. The Rancor did pique my interest as something that's like, well, you know what? That wouldn't be so bad. One look at the price point, and I said, nope. Even if all of the stretch goals they had were included in that price, I really wouldn't have been interested because I didn't have a huge interest in most of what they had on offer to begin with. But it would have made a nice centerpiece to the collection and a good place to start. However, it was just completely tone deaf and just not a good offering at all. And it just made me that much happier that I don't collect Star Wars Black Series figures in the first place. Most of my collection is in the 5.5 to 7-inch scale to begin with, between Action Force, G.I. Joe Classifieds, Mo2 Origins, and Marvel Legends. I've pretty much got a lot of that stuff in the same scale. That would be interesting to blend stuff together, but as it exists now, there's no reason for me to collect anything from this line, especially when you look at things that should be simple, like the Rancor, and they managed to screw it up. in a place where you're trying to gain market share in anything that you're doing, they've spread themselves too thin. The special offerings they're making aren't landing. I just don't see a reason to even jump into it. To be perfectly blunt, there is no reason for me as a collector to start collecting Black Series. The best characters are hard to come by or expensive. They're not offering a wide enough range of accessories and vehicles to populate the universe beyond the characters. When they do try something special like the Rancor, falls flat on its face because they don't know how to give the fans what they want. And as a result, I have no remorse or empathy for the fact that this failed. Now, if you're a fan that did want a Rancor, I do have remorse and empathy for you. If you wanted one, you should be able to get one by going to the store and picking it up off the shelf. This crowdfunding for things that should just be made available to the consumer is just asinine. I don't understand it, and it's not on brand with what Hasbro, Pulse, and HasLab is supposed to be. So they're going to have to go back to the drawing board in their entire model. You're not getting my money this way. You're not getting a lot of people's money this way. And also, stop sending guilt trip emails to people encouraging fear of missing out, aka FOMO. Shove it up your ass.